Hello, so do you ever think what is the right skill path in Arc Raiders? Well, unless the developers rebalance everything, there's not really a competition. It depends on the type of player you are and your personality, but also if you're going to play in a squad or not. If you're going to play PvP a lot more than anything else in a squad, mobility is the thing for you. If you're going to play solo, survival is for you. If you want kind of like a middle of the line, kind of like a rat mode where you enter a raid, get a lot of loot, extract fast, solo, this is the thing for you, conditioning. But to be honest, probably for 90% of the people playing the game, survival will be the best thing, and sadly, yeah, survival all the way. So I recommend you just pick survival until you go to level 36 over here in security breach. And then you will have to go into conditioning, in my opinion, because you will start to wear heavier shields. Again, loot, heavier shields. So when you're swimming in money, you'll need something that will make you faster. So this will not be as useful because you'll get a speedy buff from the shield. So this will be almost mandatory, in my opinion. And then you can have over here efficient, proficient prior, which will make breaching a lot faster. Which, if you think about it, if you add breach or proficient prior to Looter's Luck and over here Looter's Instinct, that means you'll be able to loot, let's say, an entire area in under 2 minutes. Or basically, if it's like a house or something like that, a couple of seconds will be enough to loot the entire house, and then you can just move to the next one, which is a bit overpowered. So this, and then I will go over here, survival stamina, and then I'll go over here a little extra. So that means we'll breach faster, we'll see the loot faster, and then we will have even more loot. Plus with the raider caches over here and some of the other stuff. Yeah, I think, well, what's the point of this? Well, to be honest, I've seen some people that killed a player, well, in my squad as well, because they played a lot of randoms, but because they couldn't see the player's inventory fast enough or they didn't have the weight capacity, they were just spending 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 minutes sometimes looting an enemy player. You might think, well, why 5 minutes? Well, because they would have to readjust their inventory 10 times. Plus, remember, after you kill a player, you need to reload your shield, you need to heal, you need to reload your gun. There are other things you should do first before you loot. Plus, wait a little bit before you loot them. And if you loot them, sometimes you'll just have to make a quick getaway. So yeah, this, and then over here a little extra, and then maybe loaded arms. I'm not sure, because you'll have more than enough weight capacity if you're going to use a higher tier augment. And the broad shoulders will definitely help you a lot. So I think I would take more things from here, down and determined, and you take less damage, because this will make other people waste their ammo, waste their time trying to kill you. And remember that when you're down, you can actually scout for your team. So it's not as bad as it seems. The developers had a great idea of this thing. So when you're down, you can just mark enemy players, because they'll have a choice of either killing you or hiding or doing something else. Now, it's kind of a big if, because these two over here would go very, very well with crawl before you walk. So basically I have 36 points, and then you'll need 15 over here. That will be 51. So that will leave you with just enough points to get the crawl before you walk, but then you'll have to give up these two over here. So I don't think that will be worth it, because you need to take 1 point into each, but you need 15 points to get to the bridge point over here and to get this one. So I think it will probably be like that. Now, let's go over all of the skills and let's speak about them, if they are good or bad. Now, first of all, let's kind of take it from the beginning, because this is what most people don't explain to you. The first thing you should level up to max is over here, Looter Instincts. And then I recommend you also get in-round crafting. You might be thinking, well, this is useless, you can just buy everything, you can just loot other people. No. You're going to do a lot of free runs, trust me. If you're going to play solo, you're going to do a lot of free runs. This is not like Escape from Tarkov. Here, free runs are actually pretty good, and you will prefer them because there is no risk involved, and also you'll get some experience out of it. So, spawn in a raid. If you have, let's say, free shield generators and free bandages, you're probably going to kill other free-to-play players, well, not free, other free loot players. So basically what it does is it ensures that you will not get killed by other people with a free loadout, and it will also allow you to stay longer in the fight by using all of the tools, and you can fight even more PvE and some PvP as well. So this is actually kind of good. And then you can also get the advanced one, Traveling Tinkerer, which allow you to make grenades and some other stuff. Basically, this will allow you to stay in the full raid. And sometimes when your squad is fighting, You might craft a few, let's say, shield regenerators, and you can reload your team with shields and bandages, which is something that is not really spoken about. But yeah, you can basically support your team with healing while they're fighting, because you will not have the same weapon. Some people will have a sniper, some people will have a bigger gun, some people will have an automatic. Not everyone will have the same weapon, so this is immensely important. So yeah, Looter Instincts, and then in-round crafting, and then you just have to go through this breakpoint over here, and definitely max out the broad shoulders as well. This is super important. And then Looter's Luck. So yeah, Looter Instinct, in-round crafting, then pick whatever you like. By the way, the revitalizing squat is not so good because it seems like it only works if you're standing still. You while crouched, so you have to take literally every word for what it says. If it says while crouched, that means you have to be crouched and not moving, and that's how I'll interpret it as well, because it seems like it doesn't regenerate faster when you're moving crouched. Then Broad Shoulders, Looter's Luck, and then Traveling Tinker, and of course one Raider Scraps. You might think this is not strong enough, but trust me, if you find, let's say, 1 in 2 or 3 raids, a Raider cache, most of the times you'll find enough consumables that will be worth about 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 in consumables that you'll use for your next raid. And to be honest, that's kind of fair in a way, more or less, but I wish you would have an easier time finding those Raider containers. But I kind of like the idea. Also think about it. Whenever you loot more or breach faster, you also get experience. So this will be very, very important, because you will have more experience if you find the container, plus all of the items that are inside. Plus you'll be able to craft whatever else you need, because the game is kind of like a flow. You run, you loot, you craft, you prepare, you go, you fight, you resupply, and so on. So you kind of get the idea. This is why this is so good, because it allows you to stay longer into the fights, and you're not feeling like you're always going to get harassed. Plus, you will outlive your enemies. Anyway, let's go over here. Why is this important? Well, this is important because the light shield is basically like a thin, wet towel or something like that. Imagine that instead of proper armor, you're actually wearing toilet paper in combat. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying, but sadly, the biggest problem with the balance of the game is the shields. So, a light shield will have 40 charge plus 40% damage reduction, a medium one will have 70, which is already, as you can see, almost double that. And how much do you think the heavy shield has? The heavy shield has 80. And you might be thinking, well, that's not much more. Yeah, but look at the damage reduction. You're basically going to have 10 extra damage reduction plus doubling your shield. Yeah, 15% reduced movement speed is kind of bad, but it will allow you to survive most enemy shooting at you for quite a while. Plus, it will allow you to survive a Stitcher, firing, burst, you know, you get the idea. The enemy will have to reload at least once before they kill you. So that's why that's so important. And over here, like I said, you will be in a location for maybe 1 minute, you take everything with you, and then you start disassembling, then you start crafting shields and bandages and even grenades, and then this will make the whole process so much faster. Plus, if you are playing solo, you can loot so much more with this. And then these over here don't matter, but I recommend at some point you'll only use medium shields, especially when you're playing solo. If you don't care about your loadout, just equip a looting mark II and just go full ham. In which case, you get nothing from this kill. And then breaching generates a little bit of extra resources. Also, don't worry, it's very, very, very hard to reach max level. Let me see what my current playtime is. So I have about 32 hours in the game. Let's say I played for about 25 hours. Let's say you just make 1 level per 1 hour. That means you'll probably have to play 50 hours to get to max level. You have to play so much better than you think. So every little bit of extra experience you can get with the help of these skills will help a lot. And yeah, that's why I recommend all of this and a little extra over here. Now, if you're going to go full survival and full conditioning, what else can you choose? Well, to be honest, melee is not an option. Like I said, this is very good because if you're going to play with a team or if the PvE shoots you down, that will be good. And if you're not playing with a squad or if you want to go for something else, I just recommend you stop over here because these two are not really that good either. You go through here, max these two out, and then you just go over here and you put the rest of your points into mobility and crawl before you walk. Yeah, just pick whatever you like and whatever you think it's useful, but if you're going to play with a squad, definitely you will have to go through these ones first. If you're going to play solo or as a rat, pick some of this, of course, or I don't know, I guess this is the ultimate rat build, this is the ultimate adaptive build, and this is just for multiplayer, which I don't really agree, because most of the issues with PvP is that everyone dies too fast. So if you're playing with randoms, it's going to be much better if you have a medium or a heavy shield, trust me. Because if you kill some people and loot them, that will already give you a lot more experience. So as you can see, you're kind of trading the economy for better equipment, and you're trading the better equipment for more kills and stuff like that. So yeah, I think this is mostly useless. I think this is super useful or too useful, and I also think this is way too useful as well. Because it says breaching an object. And some of the things you can breach will already have a ton of loot, and that will increase the loot. This will increase the loot of the raider caches, and it doesn't specifically say, but if you read into it, it says that this might increase the loot you get from security lockers as well. So that's kind of like my take on the game, and don't worry too much about it. You'll probably just go over here and then you'll just play a lot of solo games, because multiplayer is not as fun since you're going to be losing a lot of gear, since everyone third parties like crazy. I think in a game, for example, right now, we killed about 5 people. I'm not sure how many teams there were, duos or trios, and then another team killed us. So yes, can you imagine, sometimes the whole team just sandwiches you. Or they just attack you like it's, I don't know, like it's a hero's game. And you get attacked from all sides and you have nowhere to run. Anyway, that's all for now. See you next time. Bye bye.